This is very interesting because there was a lot of discussion, fake news started, headlines were made, and people just did not get it. So there is this Kremlin memo which explains what kind of partnerships could potentially be made with America. In it, from rare earth minerals to uranium to various aircraft, this, that, a whole lot of things are written down. By the way, who would even believe that there could be some aircraft partnership between Russia and the US? But a lot of things are written down. And the most interesting thing written in there is Russia's return to the dollar settlement system. Now, our so-called experts, they are so incredibly, so very intelligent. I mean, what other word can I use? They just completely skip the word settlement. So everyone thinks Russia's back to the dollar system. Who's going to say dollar system settlement? No, they will not. They just skipped it. Because if they say settlement system, people will get what is happening. A prediction for this was already made for 11th April 2025. And even before that, for 2022 to 2023, I clearly stated that the US is not going anywhere. So trade with the US can be done in dollars. We have no problem with that. China has no problem, Russia has no problem, and Bharat has no problem. Absolutely no one has a problem with trading with America in dollars. Yes, but why should I trade with my neighbor in dollars? That is the real question. That is the de-dollarization process. So people did not get this. Secondly, it says here return to the dollar settlement system, meaning it is talking about payment. It is talking about linking the payment systems, which is actually a part of the de-dollarization process. The entire West is not going to be cut off and move to another planet. Trade with them will continue. So the payment mechanism, the digital one, has to be linked, right? That is what this is about. So SWIFT will in fact eventually link with all the payment systems of BRICS Plus. The trade itself is not going to stop at all. So people did not understand this and they started, it is over. The de-dollarization process is over. They did not understand the matter. The idea is that all the regional payment mechanisms of all countries have to be connected. So SWIFT will also be connected in that process. They did not understand that there is no need for a common trading currency, nor a common savings currency, and that real-time settlement will happen in national tokens, in tokens of the national currency. This is part of the de-dollarization process. Now, by twisting this, all the mainstream media started putting out these headlines saying that the de-dollarization process is over. They did not understand it simply because they skipped the word settlement. Just dollar, back to dollar. They gave a title like back to dollar based trade. They are not telling you this is about the settlement system. Whatever. Prediction that US companies will move to Bharat. Obviously, if operations can start here at a rate of 90, what is more beneficial than that? Now, the word de-dollarization has become the top word. It is being discussed everywhere. It has clearly started in the mainstream media now. Everyone has come to know about it now. So the cartoons will keep saying, no, not de-dollarization. They will find other words like system of systems, all sorts of different terms. But no, brother, the word is what it is. Everyone is using it, the entire mainstream media. Now over here, Elon Musk is explaining that the future of currency will be wattage. That means it is based on the electricity that is passed on. So Elon Musk is saying this for 2026. I have a video from 2022 saying energy is the reserve currency. The dollar was just riding on it. Elon Musk is saying the same thing, that the future of currency will be energy wattage. Let us move on. Nathalie is saying that the dollar was manipulated to be higher over many, many years. This means we are now going to bring the dollar's value down. And what does that translate to? Manipulated higher means that gold and silver were artificially manipulated and kept down in order to keep the dollar up. He's not saying the other words, which I am completing for you. Now, look at the headlines that are coming out. UPI down. HSBC has a temporary shutdown. And in Australia, news is coming out that two major banks were hit with outages. So these are all trailers for the financial reset, all the Western banking that is meant to collapse, which our viewers already know. So the time has now arrived for all the global capital to quickly withdraw its money from Western banks and Start putting that money into real businesses that are both profitable and also stable. What could be the most recent example of this? For instance, the Western stake that was purchased in Haldiram's. What a huge advantage. First, the dollar rate at 90 is a benefit. It means they got the company for free. A profitable company from Bharat with an established customer base, a stable company, a real company that has real assets and real manufacturing. You went and purchased its stake at the 90 exchange rate. I mean, you see how clever the West is? So all global capital will do this. It will invest in Bharat. Where else? Because they will get the rupees appreciation plus whatever they have purchased, they will get that assets appreciation separately. It is a double benefit. So it is a very natural thing that money will be taken out of the Western banks that are about to collapse in a short while. And it will be invested in real businesses. That is a natural thing. What we have to see today is that the major geopolitical changes that have occurred are all happening exactly as predicted. It is now coming out openly, just as we have been discussing since 2021 to 22 in exactly the same way. Precisely the same things are now coming out regarding China-Bharat relations and regarding Russia-America relations. And a lot of our senior China experts are in for a really good shock treatment, because as the headlines will eventually reveal, it was not President Putin. The main partner was Xi Jinping himself. As this continues to be revealed, then by 2030, all the China experts will be in for a really big shock. Similarly, he's in mourning because the Bharat-China war could not happen. The poor guys have been sad since then because they were expecting it for 4 years. But now that the partnership is becoming so public and open, I bet they are feeling even more miserable about it. Now, what they will explain, God only knows, but we were telling you from the beginning that, hey, in what way Bharat and China are actually the main partners. And if they had not been the main partners, then this entire de-dollarization process would not even be happening, because the single biggest exporter is China. The one exporting to the whole world is China. So until China came into this de-dollarization process, the rest could have done whatever they wanted. They could have struggled and thrashed around. Even then, not much was going to happen. So it was extremely crucial that the Chinese exports to the West, the ones that go from China, were to be diverted and begin to pivot towards Asia and the global South. Because that very diversion is the actual process of de-dollarization. Only after that will the West begin to think that it also has to use its own natural resources and also destroy its own climate and stop giving its people 5-year long vacations and not even give them weekends off. The eyes of the West will only open up when China finally diverts its exports. That is the only time the eyes of this entire world will truly open. That by abusing the Chinese people, the rest of the world was just enjoying democracy. People will only realize this when China's supply chain finally gets cut off. So over the last 24 months, consider the Western supply lines that China has deliberately cut off, and the resulting inflation that the West is currently facing. That's when it finally dawned on them that, oh no, there is no climate change. Let's go. Let's remove all the pollution regulations. All of the anti-China data that you used to see on every screen simply vanished. Those reports that used to be published about Western government schemes saying this happens with the Uyghurs to produce ketchup and all that stuff. The narrative that China abuses its people, how did all of that data gradually begin to disappear from all the international media and online platforms? From that alone, it is becoming very clear just how cleanly the de-dollarization process is proceeding. So much so that all of China's negative data has to be removed. President Trump says there is nothing like climate change, nothing like labor abuse. So when Florida acted on child labor, now slowly this whole minimum wage thing will also have to be dismantled. By the way, just today, a statement has also come out of Europe. A statement came from Europe saying that we have not really worked hard at all. So now even work-life balance is facing criticism from the Western governments over in Europe. Why? Because now they are finally realizing that you cannot just buy from China and from Asia simply by printing currency. Now you actually have to work hard. You have to make a real product. You have to sell it to the world. Then you will get something real in exchange. Now you are going to have to pollute your own cities. Is not that right? So all of these flighty, whimsical ideas that used to come up, things like climate change, this and that, work-life balance, and all these social benefits. Now that they have reached a point where they have to cut back on all of this, how is it that they have increased the retirement age for the white people, for the citizens of their own countries? So you see, the West used to essentially steal the children of Bharat, the ones who were raised with religious values, by luring them away with dollars, by making them work. Western parents were being taken care of with their taxes, right? The children who were raised through the immense hard work of Bharatiya and Chinese parents were essentially bought with dollars, taken to the West, and then forced to work for them. And with those taxes, Western parents were having a good time, right? These poor kids could not even see their own parents' faces. Bharatiya and Chinese parents. So now, when this whole situation reverses, you can just imagine what kind of feelings the Western citizens are going to have. So slowly, everything is going on that same track. And anyone who wants to save themselves, any business entity that wants to survive this whole de-dollarization process, they will have to quietly come and sit down at the feet of Bharat. So it is no surprise at all why these people are coming to the AI summit in Delhi. It is not a surprise in the least, because they already know that until a human being is given some goods and services, there will be no profit. No matter how much AI you do, no matter how much robotics you do, no matter how much automation you do, until a human being consumes the product, there will be no profit. That is why they have all come to Delhi for AI. Why else would they be here? They're all going to come, are not they? Every last one of them. So anyone who wants to survive, this includes all the educational institutes, no matter how big they might be in the West. Right? Take Harvard, take Stanford, you can name whichever one you want. If they want to survive, they will have to open a campus in India and will have to bow down to Bharatiya parents. If they want to survive in this new de-dollarized world, it is really very simple, because the entire world is basically running on the pocket money of Bharatiya parents. The whole world is running on the children raised with dharmic parenting, or it is running on their savings. The entire thing. They do not even have birth rates of their own. So you see, I am not the least bit surprised by this, that universities from the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and America have to open campuses here. If they want to survive, they simply have to come. They will do it on our terms at first. They will bring their LGBTQ, this and that garbage with them, because they are not going to change. So they will come, then they will put on all this drama, and then our regulations will come into play and fix them. Right? This whole process is going to continue. So it is now decided that in a multipolar world, in the new world order, until you can sell goods and services to Bhartiyo, there is not going to be any profit, because everyone else has grown old. They have no birth rates. Who are you going to sell to? So it makes perfect natural sense that there will only be a profit if the rupee appreciates in value. Because when a population of this massive size starts making purchases with a powerful rupee, only then will your Rolls Royce, that BMW of yours, and all that survive. How will they even survive without our purchases? Are you going to sell your cars to old people? Huh? So all you big brands, you better just keep quiet. The way their meetings happen with the Prime Minister, they are specifically told, listen, you have to bring the Bharat business head. Otherwise, you will not get a meeting. Then they come. Then they go over to the West. Then they announce their operation plan for Bharat. And then they announce layoffs back in the West. And there is no other way to survive. There is de-dollarization in this world. So gradually, bit by bit, the entire world will find it has no other choice whatsoever except to start serving the Bharatiya customers.